Okay, now we can start. You have to move you over to the other side. It's like something's not right.
I saw you come in on that side and went, how long until he switches that?
About a second and a half.
Yeah. Faster than I thought. It was quick.
Thomas, happy Thursday to you. Podcast Thursday, the best day of the week.
It is. I love it. I love that we moved it from Friday to Thursday for two reasons. One, we've got more people that can watch and enjoy and hang out and be there. And the other, it's just kind of fun celebrating Friday Eve. And so it gives a different feel and a vibe for tomorrow. It's like, oh, one more day of the week. It's cool. I'm excited. Instead of waiting yet another day to do the podcast, we're here and we're doing it now. So it's kind of cool.
We do have one major issue now with the conflicts.
Yeah, I forget the sport.
The NFL,
what's it called?
I don't know. What does NFL stand for?
Not for. I won't go there.
Okay,
but there's
something. Some sport has like something they do like I don't know. Is it a talk show they do? I forget what it is. Thursday nights, a couple teams get together and they like. Is it like a rap battle? I forget.
Well, yeah. What'd you say? Talk show? It's kind of like there's enough stoppage between plays. It's kind of what it feels like if you watch it. But no, joking aside,
I respect commercials. It's all commercials. Sometimes a touchdown and then commercial, another touchdown, commercial. Yeah, there's that whole NFL thing, that Thursday night football. That I'm sorry, but you can watch that on replay.
Yeah. No hate for the athletes. I get it. Not a football fan myself, so I don't watch. I don't tune in. I understand why people love it, and they say whoever they is and deemed it America's sport. So I get it.
Not for long, says Toll NFL.
Not for long. There you go.
But apparently, it's almost over.
That's it's funny. The whole reason the Citizens Police Academy this session or this class is on Tuesday nights. The one I attended was on Mondays. This one's on Tuesdays because of Monday night, not for long season. So everything's bumped to Tuesdays, but
there's no better day. I mean, we can't. Obviously, we heard from the judge yesterday. Wednesday, everyone's headed to church, apparently. So we can't compete with that.
That's big here in my town.
South, I'm not going to stand between someone and their church. There's no way. I don't want you to stand between me and mine, so I wouldn't stand between you and yours. Let's see, Tuesday night. What's the thumbs up for? I've got to keep my hands to myself because every time I try to say something, it's like, yay, it's a party.
Expressions. Yeah. There they go.
There's the party.
I never figured mine out.
80s says hockey's better, by the way.
I love 80s.
Probably agree.
Yeah.
Favorite fan part.
Yep. Right. Go Blue Jackets. 80s.
Anyway, I do love Thursday. This is the highlight of my week. I love true crime. I love everything we do, but this is just fun. And I love it.
We get to just be silly, and I'm right there with you. I love the trials and everything you cover. For one, it's very intriguing, and it's watching something that I don't know, at least for me, and knock on wood, that you think I could never in my life be in the middle of a mess of a trial we're watching.
No, hopefully, right? No,
hopefully, that's why I said knock on wood, right? The other aspect is just the education that comes with it, of watching lawyers lawyer, judges be judges, the things that come in, the experts listening to what they do. I've learned so much following you this last year, and from a lot of the people in the chat too, because you've had different attorneys and people there, and others that have even just been, hey, I've been part of a state hospital for XYZ years, and I've seen this and that, and you're going, oh wow, didn't understand that part. It's so awesome, and I will forever keep watching. But it's all so heavy because there's not a trial we watch that's there's goofy moments, but none of it's funny the whole way through, right?
We're not all smiles and cheers. At the end of the day, generally somebody died. That's in almost every case, somebody died or nearly died.
Absolutely. So Thursday nights we can be silly, we can be goofy, we can be completely off topic, and it's accepted and it's fun and it's expected.
So, which is good.
Yeah,
because all seriousness and no fun makes me a dull boy. There's some sort of quote that goes like that.
Yeah, fair.
Old adage. But how's your week? How's everything going? It's been a bit.
Week's good. So forgive us for the no podcast last week. Scott had one of the longest travel days he had heading back to North Carolina that day.
It was so bad.
And we talked the night before and we decided, what do we do? A hotel from the car. I myself was heading on a really quick turnaround 24-hour golf trip myself. And I was preparing for it that evening also. So while we were deciding on hotel, car, but this, but that, and I just said, let's just not, because I need to be busy too. We can skip one.
And as much as I'm a love podcast, that was music to my ears when you're like, let's just not. Like,
let's just not.
Thank you. Yeah. I just need to get to the hotel and sleep.
Yeah. It worked out well for both. And I got to spend the evening with my girls before I left town the next day, as on top of packing. So it just kind of worked out there. And a break's good every once in a while for everybody. So, but we're here, we're there. This week's been great. It's flown by so fast for me. How's it been for you being home in your studio?
Well, aside from the indoor water features, which we discovered in the house, that's always fun. We're gonna get that sorted sometime after this current storm passes.
Right.
but it's weird how okay I am with the fact that my roof was leaking.
Because you're home.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'll take a hiccup over there.
But I've got my own. Sure, I've got my own bed now. I have this soft, rainforest rainstorm music to sleep to. I mean, there's benefits. You got to look at the upside. But
right.
No, this house has just been one repair job after another, and in this case, I don't get to choose what it is. I have to do the most pressing one, and then I'll go back to the regular list of which one can we afford.
Right.
But yeah, it's been great to be home. It's been vacation was fun. I feel like I need a vacation to get over the vacation, which is good.
Yep. Staycation from the vacation. Yeah. All makes sense.
Speaking of which, the guy who my phone's doing this, the guy who is going to help me with my roof and doesn't know it yet is calling me. So I'm gonna call him back.
I'll break the bad news. I'll break the bad news when he wakes up in the morning.
Todd. Sorry, Todd. Thank
great.
you very much. Thank you for putting this up. You posted the other day when you were at 11 days, and we're like, yes, one day at a time. 14, it's just adding. This number is getting bigger and bigger. Thank you, Todd, for sharing that. Congratulations. Great to hear. Keep it up.
That is fantastic. Keep rolling. You've got a whole group of people in this chat. You tune in every day. They will cheer you on and keep you going because you're not the only one. You're not alone. There's a lot of people just like that in this chat. Yep. So keep on going. That
is very much true. CPA hat for the win. What's CPA?
Citizens Police Academy.
Oh, it's your new merch.
Officer Brian gave me the hookup on Tuesday evening with the new cap. As you know, everyone knows I only wear hats on the show. And so I got a new one to represent as I go about my daily business. I love it.
I thought it was a landscape picture, but no, that's a police badge you're wearing.
Yeah, well,
let's lean your noggin and do like a what is it? Dude Perfect ending here. Throw the noggin right up against the camera.
Pound it, noggin.
Pound it. Yeah, that's it. Citizens Academy. Nice.
Yeah, I love it. Great.
Hey, you're official now.
Nope.
Next thing you know, they'll be like, hey, how about you do the regular police academy? We could really use you around here.
So the chief said that on my graduation of my academy. He was on the heavy recruiting trail, and I said, no. And he said, we'll use this academy as your training academy, laughing. And I said, no. As much as I would love to, and it would be absolutely awesome, I just can't. But I would, man, every day I'm like, I want to so bad, but I can't. The hours of working from home, financially would be a different situation as well, which to me, honestly, that's not a big deal. I completely squirrel moment here. When I was a little bit younger, and as some of you know, I was a golf professional for a while, not a player, a professional teacher through the PGA of America. It's different between a professional golfer and a golf professional. Golf professional teaches and runs a country club or a golf course and has the knowledge and is decent. But anywho, I was working a corporate job, getting paid decent money that was very fun to live on, but I hated my job. And I got the opportunity to become a golf professional starting at the bottom of the barrel. But I loved it so much, I did it. And I took a 60% pay cut to do it. Yes.
You got to love your job when you, oh my goodness.
And it was the greatest thing I ever did in my life. It was incredible. I obviously, some of the free meals from being there at the country club helped get me through that. A good friend of mine that I moved in with when I took that job, that was a big help because rent was peanuts compared to a true rent of living on my own. And that got me through until I worked up the ranks and then became the head professional there. So finances aren't everything when it comes to that, but
they're a lot.
As I'm getting older and as our daughter's getting older and college is coming and all that, I have to weigh that a little bit heavier now versus when I was just, being a little mini weather watcher, doing things on my own. It was only me to worry about, nobody else. So,
oh man, that's wild.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I don't think I could be a police officer because I'm not sure I'm good dealing with people. Like honestly,
no, they need to be terrible if that's the case.
I mean, I think I'm pretty nice to people, but I'm not sure if I could be the bad guy with people. Like I don't know if I could fill that role and be like, hey, talk to the judge. I'm throwing you a cuffs in the back of the car and taking you downtown. I'd have a hard time doing that.
I don't know. You've carved some FU trees and you've done some vindictive things.
That's all, like, it's not directed at, well, it is directed at someone, but I don't see the person it's directed at. There's like a disconnect between me and them that way.
That's fair.
This is quite personal when you're, grabbing them by the arm, stuffing in the back of your car.
You're fair. So I'm with you there because I have said the same thing about myself when we watch the Louisiana parole board hearings.
Yeah.
I look at them and say, oh man, I would be too soft on half these guys. When there's so many they vote no, and I'm like, oh, that was a guaranteed yes.
Every sob story I hear, I'd be like, yep, you convinced me. I'm crying. Keep going. Pass the tissues. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would never fill my ticket quota. I would buy every single excuse people gave me. You know what? I've heard that one before, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Just slow down next time, okay, Thomas? I know the bike's nice, but slow down.
So tickets I could do because a huge pet peeve of mine is terrible drivers. In fact, I just joined a local Facebook page here that's dedicated to bad drivers of our town, and it is amazing. People with dash cam video and all this are bad parking. They upload these images and videos every day on it, and I love it. So tickets, I could be a motorcycle cop because I could write traffic tickets all day long.
A Facebook group dedicated to bad. It's like people of Walmart, but drivers of you're part of Texas.
It's bad drivers of Wichita Falls, and people upload. It's amazing. I love it.
It's got to be like the largest community group in your community.
It definitely has the most opportunity for footage.
Wichita Falls, and then bad drivers of Wichita Falls. I've got to start one of those.
Oh my gosh,
North Carolina, we've got some great candidates for that. Do you have to pass like a questionnaire test to get in?
Yeah, it was like
basic driver test. What does this sign mean?
So our group asked, what did it say? There was 2 questions. It was easier to join it than the Recovery Addict Facebook page because there was only 2 questions, and it was like, where did you find us, and what poor driving aspects do you not like? And so you get to fill that out.
What's your number one pet peeve when it comes to other drivers?
I wrote a paragraph on that one.
I let it
rain. Yes, 100%. This town is notorious for no turn signals, and red lights is another one. But the other big one, which I don't understand, when people are making, say, a right-hand turn, no matter what vehicle they're driving, they love to swing hard left into the other lane as if they're driving a truck and trailer to make their turn. They could be in a smart car, and they will get into your lane before. It's a teeny little car, right. You just slow down, you just turn. I don't understand it. I've never seen it my whole life because I'm not originally from here, even though I've lived here longer than where I'm from.
It's to take the turn faster.
But
you can go faster around the curve. You don't have to slow down for that tight angle.
It's so bad. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It makes me laugh. It's so. Thank you, Kenny. I'm about to go on unhinged here, so I'm going to relax.
I want to join just to see what people are saying.
I'll send you the invite. It's great. Dash cam footage is phenomenal from people.
Oh man,
there was a live wreck they showed yesterday, and it was titled "Another Red Light Runner" this morning. And sure enough, he stopped. It's red as can be, and this SUV just goes, and a car starts to go because the screen. No one was hurt, but yeah, but it worked out because the comments were, "Hey, can you email me that video?" The person that ran the red light is blaming my grandma for the So it's also helping things.
Wow, yeah, those insurance companies are going to be joining that in just a minute. That is wild. Now I've got to find out. I have not had a great use for Facebook lately. I mean, I've been on before and I've used it a lot, but I haven't been on a lot lately. But this one is sucking me back in. There's really no other social media that works like this for this type of group.
Start the page in your town. Twubble, this is a great comment because that is where I'm actually from. And as crazy as they drive, they are 10 times better than the town I live in now. I can promise you. That's what's crazy.
Which is why Thomas is wearing the police badge on his hat, because he's going to make a difference.
No, I don't wear it too much in public because for multiple reasons. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to send you an invite to our group for entertainment, but then I urge you to start one of your own in your town and see what happens.
I've got a friend who runs the local What's Happening group here for my town, and it's huge. It has more members than our town has. I kid you not. Like, more members in that group than our town has citizens, man, women, child, and cats. We have more people in there. So she's doing something right. Maybe she'd give me some pointers. I'm not sure if she'd approve of exactly what we're doing, because it's sort of like a gripe page, right? It's a complaint.
It's more of an exposure page. You're exposing people.
Just informational.
Yes.
Just heads up.
Watch out for this black Ford Escape license plate ending in 8596 because it runs red lights and veers into lanes. All that, it's been on this page twice this week. So just heads up, people.
If you see your car on here, odds are you probably need to go to driving school.
Yes.
Speaking of, I guess that leads into one of our stories this week, that we've got a bad driver. Got a bad driver in the store. Oh, what's this? My nephew's in the annual SCPGA. You have to help me with the acronyms.
Okay.
Annual Tournament of Professional Instructors, currently sitting 6th.
Yes. So because of this comment, there's a story today with someone I know that is heartbreaking, not in a health way. Big Sky with SCPGA, is that South Carolina or is that Southern California? Because there's different sections and chapters. So if you can answer me real quick, because if it's...
I was thinking Supreme Court, so I'm completely...
Supreme Court professional...
It's a thing. I'm sure they golf.
I'm sure it is. So I'm going to start this story real quick while I wait for Big Skies. Yeah. So a mutual friend of ours, who again is a golf professional, not a pro golfer. There's a lot of them that are actually amazing golfers, and you can compete in state and section events and win money and win points. And if you get to the top tier echelon, you're actually proven to be good enough to play on a PGA Tour event. So our mutual friend in the Southern California PGA sector competed all year long, accumulated enough points for finishing high enough to where he got exempt into the Farmers Invitational, which is at Torrey Pines with the PGA. It's the former Buick Invitational. It's the former US Open where Tiger has won 1 million times. He got exempt. He's good enough to play with the big boys. So last night he's sending group texts to all of his buddies. He's not my friend, but my good friend grew up with him. So he's sharing this with me. And so my good friend lives in Colorado, is traveling back to San Diego in January. That's when the tournament is held. So we can go follow him and cheer him on. So they're looking at airfare and all this stuff. And the guy who qualified gets a text or a call this morning at 6:30. The Southern California PGA section, the math didn't math. He won by 49 points. You accumulate these points throughout the season, right? In the events you play. He won by 49. Well, the guy behind him, they didn't count the 50 points he got for winning a US Open qualifier. That gives you 50 points. So they said, we're sorry, you're actually out. You don't get exempt to 2 tournaments. You don't win the $10,000. 1 point, and like 18 hours later, our mistake, you're out.
That double bogey for way back in September comes back to bite him.
Potentially. Or the non-mathing. So, I mean, he's telling family members, he's telling everyone, everyone's excited. They're looking at merchandise to wear and buy and booking tickets. And by 1 point, sorry, you have to stay home. No 10 grand, no 2 PGA tournaments that you just got invited to.
Ouch.
Yeah, sad. Talk about a high to a low.
That's exactly opposite of what just happened in chat while you were talking. Because Greeners went from just a regular member to an attorney level. He went from a low to a high. Greeners, congratulations on the transition. But no, that is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But there's always next year. I mean, I know that's not the most soothing consolation you can give someone in sports. There's always next year, right?
Right.
That's like, you lost. But
we were talking about it too, my buddy and I, when he was letting me know what happened. We're thinking, so the other guy, yesterday before they make their, finals, he's auditing everything. He's the one that found it and went.
I was like, he's filed the appeal. Hey guys, please review this quickly.
So one
guy
guy,
give my 10 grand to somebody.
Totally. So one guy is super high and then super low. And then as of this morning, they just go, whoop. So now another guy is super low. It's just sad because the guy that was really high and all excited, I was pumped for him and all that. But
now your friend has to look at like the top 3 people above him and make sure their points were calculated properly.
100%.
Well, you gave him 2 extra points, so that puts me back in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. That's wild.
But I never saw Big Sky come back and chat and say if that was South Carolina or Southern California. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I didn't see it either.
But you were going to kick off
I was going to talk about a story about, we were talking about bad drivers. And,
yes.
And there's one out of, I think it was Bedford. Let me double check this one.
Bedford, Ohio.
Bedford, Ohio. I wasn't sure about the state. Bedford, Ohio. How far do you need to go behind somebody before you realize they're a bad driver?
Oh,
I guess it depends on how bad they are, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, and it depends on the area and the situation, right? But typically, like a mile, and
a mile on the freeway is probably. How about 4 miles? 4 miles, like something's wrong here.
Plenty, yeah. Especially if it's in city limits, 100%.
An 8-year-old girl took her an SUV from her Ohio home and drove 4 miles to a store where she was later found unharmed. She was a good driver. 4 miles as an 8-year-old. And this is an SUV. Any SUV I know of is going to be quite difficult to drive as a child. Even this one, this is a Nissan Rogue. I've driven the Nissan Rogue.
It's a smaller SUV, right?
It's smaller, but it's still got, it's still big. They call it an SUV for a reason.
Yes.
But 8 years old, and unless she's like a giant for an 8-year-old, that is a feat in and of itself, because reaching the pedals and steering and looking out the window at the same time are a challenge for just about any child.
Yeah.
But police launched the investigation and learned that the child had been spotted driving the vehicle, and the vehicle could not be located. They found it in a parking lot at a Target. She parked at Target. I can barely park at Target.
Yeah, I park in the back of Target because it's a mess.
Target's, I don't know, the parking stalls at Target are like narrower than anywhere else, I think. And I drive an SUV. I drive like my wife's SUV. It just does not fit. Lengthwise, widthwise, nothing. She managed to park successfully at Target. 13 miles from her home was where she parked.
So she parked. She had the wherewithal to put it in park, turn it off, and go into the store. That's wild. What a smart 8-year-old. She's going to be great when she grows up.
Great at Grand Theft Auto, probably.
They said too young to charge her.
Too young to be charged criminally, but I'm sure she's grounded. I think that's no keys for at least a week.
One parent grounded her, the other high-fived when the other wasn't looking. I guarantee that's what happened.
The one that's been doing the secret driving lessons on the side.
Yeah. When I was a little tyke, my dad, he had I'm not going to remember the year, but I want to say like a 1989 Datsun pickup. right? It's if you think of like the Nissan Frontiers nowadays, that's what a Datsun was, but it's tinier.
Was it like the Brat? Do you remember the Brat?
I don't remember the Brat.
Brat was like a cross. It was like a cross between a pickup and a car. It was like a pickup with short bed.
So it was a true pickup. It was just tiny. Okay. Like think of a small Ford Ranger, basically. It's that same class. Yeah. And so it was manual stick shift, and I was a little guy. So we lived, I don't know, a mile or so at that time, right off the main road there. So my dad would throw me in his lap, as many do, and let me steer home. And I was so little, and every once in a while he'd let me like touch the little stick shift because it's in a little pickup truck, so it's it's tall, so I could reach down and kind of get after it. But apparently, I don't remember it myself, but there's a picture, and they told me the story. I learned enough to just go out there one day into the driveway and climb into said Datsun, and I guess I got up in the seat and was playing at the wheel, and I jiggled the gear shift, the manual gear shift, just enough to get it out of first gear, so that way me and the Datsun could roll backwards towards our fence about 50 yards while I was standing in the seat because I'm so little.
Hey, look, I'm driving.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, driving as I'm rolling backwards away from the house.
Was it a wooden fence?
I don't recall. I didn't hit it. It rolled into the flat and stopped. But yeah, that was me stealing my parents' car for the first time. I was just a little guy.
I borrowed my grandpa's pickup truck, which was the old Toyota pickups before they went full-size pickups.
Borrowed?
With permission. With permission. He had modified this truck in two ways. He put a camper shell on it, which was just cool because we like to ride in the back and then the cops couldn't see you. And he had put a little red button on the underside of the dash, and you push and it goes Aruga.
The best.
Best horn ever, and he'd honk it every time. Well, I borrowed his truck. I borrowed it to do something. I forget what. And the driveway was full in my house, and we have like growing up, we lived on a hill, like a steep hill. So I drove on the grass, just drove it up on the grass and everything. Probably dented the rims, climbing the curb and everything. Parked it on the grass, left it there, and the neighbor kid and my little brother climbed in and put it in neutral and drove it back across the street and into the neighbor's flower beds and just decimated their flowers.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And the worst part is that I'm thinking, quick, I can drive it out of there, then no one would know. There were like tire tracks of just mud that just pointed.
Yeah,
it happened. It was these guys right here.
No one will know. No one will know. What is it? I'm thinking pre-Tundra days. So that would have been a Toyota T100. Is that what that was?
I think older.
Okay.
This is it was an old truck in 1993 when I borrowed it. Okay. So it's an old pickup truck.
Well, it depends on your perspective. To me, that would have been just a 7-year-old pickup truck.
I did. It was old. I did borrow it once to go on a date, and my date and I sat in the front, and it was a group date, and my buddy, his date, sat in the back, and we went up on a dirt road up in the mountains, and I rode over bumps like crazy. There's no padding. It's just a metal bed with a low roof.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. I couldn't hear what's going on in the back. They come out, they're like, why'd you do that? Beat to crap, all bruised. I'm like, sorry. But I'm paying for gas money.
So who had more fun, them on their first date or Mrs. R.A. ice fishing?
Well, I can tell you that they didn't do anything. No hanky panky happened back there. I kept the bumps. It was all they could do to just hold on. So I kept everyone good
on the straight and narrow.
As far as ice fishing, I think they had more fun on the date.
From the stories we've heard, I think so.
I love those little pickup trucks, though. I never had a Datsun. I did buy another Toyota. I think it was the first car I ever bought myself was a Toyota pickup, and it was like, I don't remember what model, but it had huge tires. It had a lift kit. It had the chrome roll bars. The kid I was buying it from was doing a out of country trip, and he had to sell it. And he's like, I need like $8,000 for it or something. And I'm like, but you're leaving next week. Nobody's bought it yet. I ended up picking it up for like $3,500.
Oh, score.
Yeah, it was. He was crying, but he needed the money, and And then a couple years later, I pulled into an intersection. A lady turned left on a red light, totaled the truck, and I got 10 grand from the insurance company for it. So it was a win-win for just about everybody.
No gap insurance needed there.
Yeah, it was the best part was he had receipts for every single modification, the supercharged engine, everything that he'd put in. Yeah. And his receipts, I took those to the insurance company when they tried to lowball me on the offer. I'm like, but look at all the work it's done. I had done none of it. Yeah.
Fair.
Anyway, that's not insurance fraud, is it? If it is, I take that back, and it's all just a story that I dreamed up.
It's an insurance mistake by insurance. It's not fraud. It's I want to shout out my dad for this real fast. Sometimes he listens, sometimes he doesn't. But when you talk about vehicles and cars and upgrades and modern technology and things these days, I think this is really cool to me. So I was born in 86, and my dad had said Datsun pickup for as long as I could remember. Okay, here it is. First time I touched. So I never touched it again. So born in 86, grew up in that pickup, in that little Datsun, all the way until about the year I could drive. My dad then, we were looking for a potential car for me and not what to do. But then he had a company issued vehicle through the department. And at that same year, when I could drive, when I'm now 16, he upgraded from that Datsun to a brand new 1999 Nissan Frontier.
It's a big upgrade.
It is. Still a tiny truck.
Mm-hmm.
So because he had the take-home vehicle, that was his daily, I got to drive said 1999 Nissan Frontier. Well, my dad drives said Frontier today. It has 390 something thousand miles on it. I'm 38 years old. My entire life, my dad has had 2 small pickup trucks forever. That's all he's ever had. That's all he drives.
They run forever.
And he takes such good care of everything, and he does it. But
even if you don't,
it's true. It's true.
That's why they're so popular as farm trucks across the border, especially. They love them because they run forever. They're not the newest, flashiest, nicest pickup trucks, but they just work and run. It's awesome.
I feel like so irresponsible. I'm on my 5th car. I was roughly my dad's, or I am roughly my dad's age when they had me, and I'm on 5. I mean, it's insane. So when I look back at it and I visit, I think it's so cool because he's that way. He nothing materialistic has to come in. He loves them. He loves to take care of them. He'll drive them until they die. And I think it's so cool.
I'm the same way, but I just hate paying for a new car. So I just drive it until I absolutely have to buy a new car. It's my least favorite thing in the world to shop for a new car. Once we have it, it's like, hey, this is the coolest thing ever.
Right.
But shopping for a new car, I would rather, grind my teeth out. No Novocaine. I don't care. It is so just like soul suckingly painful to shop for cars.
Yeah. It's, I do all mine online. The car I drive now, actually, my neighbor and I, because he's a car guy, so we were both just on the internet for like a week, just source, and then we found the one, and I agreed with what he said, so went down to see it, and everything checked out, and so got it. Same with my last one. I refuse to go to a car lot.
Maybe you should rent out that as a service to people like me who refuse to go out shopping for cars but need to do it.
That's fair.
There's a business there.
Yeah. Trial TV in the house. Hi, family.
Hey, Trial TV. Welcome. Let's see.
Speaking of trials, perfect segue, Trial TV.
Yes.
You have no idea.
Perfect timing.
It's awesome. I think this is another Ohio. Nope, sorry, we're in Maine. This is cool. There's been videos of things that like this happening, but not in this case. And there's actually limited details, but it's cool. There was a man convicted of assault, and I'm not going to go through the exact charges, but as soon as he's there and he's convicted in court and he's cuffed and he bolts. He's out of the courthouse. I'm gone. We've seen videos like that. Yeah. We've seen them. They kick off their sandals and they take off. Some of them get out to court. They get caught later. Others, the bailiffs tackle them. No, this one's super cool. He's heading down the halls and he dodges someone who's trying to stop when they realize it. But guess who gets him?
The doggy?
He's detained by the jury.
Not only do we find you guilty, we found you.
But we found you. The jury gets a hold of him and takes him down until he's taken back into custody. I thought that was awesome. Again, there's not many details outside of that, but I thought that is so stinking cool because you're convicted, off you go, and you make a run for it, and they're like, "No, we're standing by this. You're not going anywhere."
Do you think they could be out of jury service? Can you like tell the judge, look, I mean, I've already sort of done my civic duty here this morning. Do you think I can get a pass on this 3-week, murder trial or something?
Yeah, can I get like a 5-year deal to not ever have to come back after what I just did? So cool. I love it.
So the bailiffs couldn't catch him, and the jury did.
And the jury did. What I'm thinking is,
imagine a bailiff that's probably not the most fit is like running along down the hall. Stop that man! And the jury pops out and they're like, da, 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 da.
They come out the side door. And what I'm thinking is the Dallas Cowboys.
Verdict in hand. They come out like.
The Dallas Cowboys should look into potentially substituting this jury for their defense. That might be an option based on
they got beaten badly, didn't they?
Yeah, and I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I can love to talk about it when that happens. Again, not a football fan, period. Uh-oh. I forgot I have a friend in chat who's probably a Cowboys fan. Whoops. Never to be on the show again, probably.
Hey, Roy. Welcome. Welcome. On another note, there's got to be some lotteries or something we can talk about that can distract Roy from his anger.
Yes, go from losing to winning. I like to segue.
Let's leave Texas altogether. How about we head up to Massachusetts?
Yeah, there's no lottery stories in Texas ever. That's the way it goes.
There's also no lottery stories in Utah. Utah doesn't have a lottery either. But people that win the lottery in Utah win it just across the border in Nevada, in Idaho, in Wyoming, they'll cross the border and participate. And that's actually one of the arguments every time the states that don't have a lottery try to legalize one. They like, look, our people are already playing. They're just paying another state.
Yes.
Right. So just legalize it. And then the money comes here instead of there. But in this case, we've got let me see if I can open this here. I think it was a New Yorker. And I don't know if New York has a lottery or not, but he traveled to Massachusetts. Massachusetts, the state that has way too many double letters in its name. Massachusetts, officially, for those who are keeping score. That's 2 S's and 2 T's, but it also has 2 A's and then an extra and 2 S's. Yeah, so it's got lots of letters. Just so he visited a friend in Massachusetts, won a $1 million prize, all from stopping in a little American Food Market store in Mattapan. He bought the 100x cash scratch-off ticket, ended up revealing a $1 million prize. No plans for his money. I'm guessing he's probably going to pay rent because New York is ridiculously expensive.
100%. Yes, absolutely.
So he's probably good for at least 3 months, and then he can, try to win again.
It's insane. The amount of luck that happens. It's my buddy sent me a tweet today, and it showed a picture of, I forget the state or in the town, but the town borders another state. There's no state gambling, or there's no gambling in the state they live. Mm-hmm. The picture showed them driving across the border just a few minutes to the nearest cell tower so they could place their bets online with that state of what they were betting on. College football, I think, is what they're doing. So it's funny. They all drive and line up over there and they place their bets and do it through there. I don't know how true or if it was satire or not, but the concept of the post was actually pretty funny. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. Do they take like a GPS reading on your phone to make sure it's legal to?
Yeah, I don't. Or is it just because the tower is registering to that state, you can now access that site, whereas that site might be blocked?
You could just put up a big tower on your site and talk to that tower, and then you could do it from home.
Or NordVPN. Not sponsored.
Not a sponsor. There are some technical ways to get around that.
Yeah.
Spoofing both your GPS location as well as your physical IP location. But
100%. One more big lottery winner. Mm-hmm. Back to Ohio we go with the 8-year-old driver, but this is different. A guy celebrating his 40th birthday decides he's going to go get him a 10-time Mega Flyer scratcher just to treat himself. Why not? Let's gamble just a little bit. And so happy birthday. Here's $500,000 you've just won on your 40th birthday, sir.
Free pancakes too.
Because he needs them.
He's got
Because he needs them.
$500,000 and a free stack of flapjacks. That's quite a celebration.
Yeah.
What do you do with 40 years old? What do you do? Do you invest?
So
if you haven't invested to that point, that's a good point to say I'm trying to catch up, but you can't really dump it in like a 401k because there are limits on how much you can put in each month.
His interview, he said, my winnings are going to go towards investments. So you nailed it for that guy.
He's got plans in the future that involve something other than work. So
you guys think alike. I think your birthday, you might ought to get you a ticket.
Well, there's a guy in California that needs to think about what he's been spending his money on all these years instead of investing. This is dated yesterday, so it's just ripped from the headlines. Ken Wilson, good old Ken, lived in the same place since 2006.
Okay.
Has mistakenly been paying his neighbor's power bill for 18 years.
18 years?
18. 18.
That is so many years.
If I was his neighbor, I would have like a Bitcoin farm running or something. I mean, I'd capitalize on that windfall. But gosh. He notified Pacific Gas and Electric that his bill was going up, and he took steps to reduce his energy usage. Like switch to energy efficient windows, and then more update your appliances. And he does all
more money. He spent more money.
And he did. And then he's like, okay, let's see the next month's bill. Let's see how much money I'm saving. Bill comes, no change whatsoever. He's like, hang on.
Neighbors run the AC at 65.
And they're like, oh, about that. The mix-up had been happening for the entire 18 years that he lived in the apartment.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's the meter.
Gally Mesa, who's been paying his? He's been paying both, is my understanding from the story. His and theirs. They're tied together.
PG&E obviously got some bad press on this. Their public statement is, quote, "We acknowledge an error in this instance, and we are fully committed to rectifying the situation with the customer and make the customer whole." Oh,
so he's going to get a big check.
He should. But just like your friend that thought he was going to be in the PGA and ended up missing it by one, somebody else is getting 18 years worth of power bills sent to them. Well, it's going to be this one, not a thumbs up.
Yeah. There you go.
18 years of power bills. And the company's like, oh, by the way, you're late on your payments. And here's,
if I were them, I'd be like, no way, no bill, no pay.
Yeah. There's got to be a statute of limitations or something that comes in.
Or a massive payment plan of, hey, you have 20 years to pay back in increments because we can't double charge you now for stuff you're not now. That better just make them whole and move on. Oh, yeah. Great call, Roy. Great movie. Great movie.
The lawyers, get the lawyers involved. If there's any money to be made, they can take at least 30% of it.
100%.
Has anyone ever done that? Have you ever mistakenly paid someone's? I mean, you've seen that before where people, you get a parking ticket, right? And you like sneak it onto somebody else's car thinking maybe they'll take it down and pay it. No, you guys don't.
Big no on that one.
I need a little sound effect. So you guys don't. I don't do that either. The idea is you get a parking ticket on your windshield and you stick it under the windshield of somebody who.
Yeah. No, I'm fully aware of the idea.
Okay,
but you were you were looking for anyone to join in.
I've never
anyone else? You done it?
Never.
You guys do it.
I'm just saying. Have you ever had a situation where you paid a ticket and it turned out to not be yours? That's where I was going with it. Not that I.
You used the reverse. There's a reason the gallery behind you is empty because you're criminal. No. The closest I could say is I paid for dinner one night when my wife was mad at me. That's as far as I could go for paying for someone else that just should have paid for themselves. But
you haven't ever had like a bill mix up at a restaurant and you're like, hey, waiter, my check, and the table next to you did the same thing and they swapped it and you're like, wow, it cost more than I thought. And you sign it and everything, and the next table over is like, yes, lobster for $15. They're dancing. No.
I can't say that I have, no. Or maybe it happened, but it would have been so long ago or something that was so minuscule that wasn't big enough for me to go, oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely wasn't 18 years worth of utility bill or anything of that nature.
You should notice 18 years.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of, right, is it had to happen when he moved in, right? So his very first bill was just high, and he was like, "Holy cow, this is expensive here, dang!" And so he just budgeted for it, and he kept doing it. Because if he lived there for 6 years and then all of a sudden, bam, his bill doubled, you would know like right away. So I'm guessing he moved in, and during the move, something got intertwined, and he just went, "Holy smokes, this is expensive."
He never like talked to his neighbors like, "Hey, love the place, but man, power here is really expensive." And the neighbor's like, "Yeah, well, mine's free." He never had that moment. That conversation should have come up in 18 years.
That's true. And the neighbors should have known, like, so they all didn't move in at the same time, right? So that means the neighbor went from having a bill to no longer ever getting one. And they never once said, "How come I'm no longer getting a bill?" Now it's an apartment complex. So do they assume? I don't know, but that part is wrong by them. They should all of a sudden my bill disappeared. Because if that happened to me for any one of my bills, I would call and say, "Hey, where did this bill go?" Because I don't want you to come to me in 6 months and say, "Now you owe me a crazy amount of money with interest or penalties or whatever."
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Didn't realize this. It's possible they were both paying it somehow.
Oh,
didn't even think about that
even
option.
worse. That's PG&E has a little more to explain because they should have caught that if they were double tipping. That's
October. Great point. Never thought about it. That's the only thing I can say is when I lived in Tulsa for a short time, the apartment complex was not the most desired place to be. Put it this way, the first unit I looked at, there was crime scene tape across the door. And a guy drove past me and the apartment manager when we were in the golf cart heading down to this unit. This place was massive property. And he drove by us and yelled expletives at her and threw a 40 out his window to the parking lot, shattered everywhere. And she was like, "They'll never learn," or something. And I'm going,
you're like, "Here's your sign."
This is normal. So we get to the door and there's crime scene tape. I'm not making this up. And actually, the owner of the hockey team I was going to coach for, she was with me, and she's like, "What in the heck?" And so we get there, and I'm like, "There's crime scene tape," and she said, "Yeah. We're gonna take that off tonight because everything's done. So you can
release the scene back to us. The body's been removed. We're gonna switch out the carpet. You guys have nothing to worry about."
Yeah, whatever happened. And so she says, "You can go ahead and move your stuff in tonight. The new door with all the locks and everything is going to be put on by maintenance in the morning." And I'm saying, my furniture into a crime scene that won't have a door overnight and it'll get a door in the morning. Does that make sense to you at all, what you're trying to tell me right now? And she just went, "Oh, so you're not interested?" And I went, "I'm so far from interested. This is insane.
I'd like a new realtor.
This is insane that you are hired to work here, and that's how you're pitching an apartment for sale." I couldn't believe. Anyway, so I went across the street to a different one, which was only reason it was better was just missing the crime scene tape. Otherwise, it was the same. But they forgot to charge me rent like 3 months in a row, and I was actually so broke at the time, I didn't mention it because it was on an auto pay thing. And I would always check my bank because I was living off of water and peanuts at that time. And I was, "Oh, wow, I got a bonus. Oh no, there's no rent deducted." And so I never said anything. And then I moved out 5 months later. And when I went out and they gave me my deposit check and everything else, and then they called me like 4 days after I was gone. Like, hey, you owe us 3 days of rent. We're going, "No, you forgot to bill me. I'm gone." And I no longer have.
We've all played that game. If you miss billing me when I land on your property and I roll and I leave, you can't bill me.
And I no longer have Harvest Bank because that's all that was up there. I'm back to Wells Fargo, so you can't get me. Bye.
So there's a bench warrant out for your arrest. In what state?
There's Oklahoma. No. You know how you can go on any given state and check for unclaimed property in your name? And if you haven't heard this, people in chat, do it.
Oh, this is a cool thing.
Any state you've ever lived in, go on the government site of unclaimed property. And what property can mean is property or money. That could be anything from utility companies that didn't give you a deposit when they should have, et cetera, et cetera. When you don't collect it, it goes to the state's treasury and it sits there in your name. And so what's funny is, from my internet provider in that apartment, currently they owe me $80. This is like 16 years ago or more. So there's $60 in my name sitting in the Oklahoma Treasury waiting for me to claim it. Any state you've ever lived in at any time, go to it, search your name. You will be shocked, because I have shared this with friends, and my buddy said, oh my gosh, my wife just found out in California they owe $280 some odd for something from like 20 years ago. So Must Be says, wait, where's it at? So the generic search would be unclaimed property of whatever state you're searching, and then make sure it's a .gov site that you click on.
There are so many. Be very careful here.
Yes.
There are so many websites that are fraudulent, that are going to try to say, hey, for a fee, we will help you get your unclaimed money. They are literally doing something that is free, that you can do yourself on your website.
Yes.
And they're trying to take a cut as a middleman. And sometimes they want to take 50, 75% of the cut. Don't do that. So please do your research. If you need help, reach out to me on the burner phone. I'm sure we can put together a list of all 50 states of unclaimed property. But you want to go to the official site for each one. And then, you'd be surprised. I just checked in North Carolina. They say they have $1.3 billion. That's with the B, $1 billion in North Carolina of unclaimed property. That's money the state is holding for people. Yeah.
And like I said, I haven't lived in Oklahoma forever, and they still have $60 in my name there. I think I found some for my dad. Like I said, my friend's wife, and someone else. I got so curious when I watched this, and I started searching some of my friends. I found some actually for my good buddy, and he claimed it. He got like $110 from his last cable provider. They didn't give him the deposit or whatever prorate was back from like 8 years ago. So he just filled out the paperwork, sent in, he got his check for $110. So it's, John Davenport said my wife had $400 from her employer in a check that went to her. Exactly. It's a thing. There is tons and tons of money out there, and it's there. Go get it.
A lot of states will just show the value. If it's over a certain value, it's like under 25, over 500. Things like that. But
yeah, it's awesome. It's and obviously it's not advertised, because I'm sure some of this money gets used by banks to get loaned out and to make interest fees and to make money. So they don't want
it's supposed to turn over to the state, and it should be held like in a trust, and the state just collects the interest.
Exactly. There you go. The state makes some money. But yeah, it's a cool feature. It's awesome. And like we said, you'd be surprised you'd go, oh my gosh, there's $110 waiting for me. I remember that company. I used them in my apartment. I was 19 years old. It just sits there until it's claimed. It doesn't die until we do. It's
from the weirdest places.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't even know how we got there, but we did.
Let's see. Greeners has an idea here. Pro tip: look for sugar spouses based on unclaimed funds websites. You could,
but if it's unclaimed, they don't have the money, so they're not sugar.
So he wants to be the middleman. I think it's what he wants to do. Yeah.
Greeners.
Tell you, from unclaimed money to unclaimed items. If we can jump to the next story here.
That's absolutely perfect for schedule and everything. Love it.
A brief transition.
Yeah.
Hotels.com. Who works with all the different hotel company. I think they reached out and probably did a survey with all their partner hotels and got a list of things people left behind. And this is real, because I just traveled across the country, and I'm pretty sure I left a cable.
Of all things.
I'm missing one cable, and Amber has seen my cable mess. Amber, no pictures, Amber. But I have a lot of cables. I'm missing one cable. I'm missing a USB-A to USB-C cable, and 6 feet long. And it's one that's very important for this podcast. So I had to improvise and steal a similar cable from another function. Anyway, I left it in a hotel. I'm pretty sure it was one of the chargers I just plugged into like the USB, and I unplugged it and left. Yeah, so I left it. And these hotels, they've got a list of things that people have left. And if you think on the top of your head, what do you think like the top 3 might be? And this is for chat. Thomas, you can chime in as well. But what are the top 3 items somebody might leave?
Well, when I was a kid, we paid a hotel to ship my pillow from Calgary down to Southern California because I left my favorite pillow ever. And my parents paid for them to ship it back. When I say kid, I think I was 14, by the way. So it wasn't like my binky or
I was
something.
21, okay? It was 21. Yeah. It's a special pillow, guys.
Yeah.
Let's see. 6 Volt says glasses, dentures are on there from Gina. Pillows for sure. A phone charger. That's on the list, Melanie, for sure. Phone chargers are on there.
Dentures are too, which is crazy.
Shoes. Hair dryer.
How do you leave without your teeth?
I usually gain a hair dryer when I go to hotels.
There you go.
The last person left one.
No, the hotel owns that. It's there for your use. Someone else didn't leave it.
Now I own it.
The ironing board, the iron, the TV, the dresser, the mattress. Someone else didn't leave that stuff. The hotel owns it. You can't take it.
Toothbrush. Now you tell me. A wig. Oh my goodness. Jewelry, phone chargers, jewelry. That's scary. You can lose a lot of money really quickly if you leave jewelry. I see a couple of references to toys. Charger, hairbrush. Why is it not clicking for me? Charger, hairbrush, and shampoo, says Todd. I say chargers. Chargers is on there. The top, I said top 3, but phone chargers, dirty laundry, power adapters, makeup, and toiletries are some of the most common. There are some
toiletries being. I could see toiletries being left on purpose. If you buy like a travel pack thing and you don't travel often, and it's like the stick of deodorant that's like this big, like chapstick.
I'm a big fan of replacing my toothbrush frequently.
Yeah, same.
It's not like my cars. I don't drive it until you just can't use it anymore. Like the toothbrush, you just get another one very quickly. You drop it on the floor. It's okay. I'll buy another one. It's on the floor. It's dirty now. It's like food. I'm not going to eat it. But
I love that you're a big fan of that because that's like should be standard practice.
Yeah. It's just common sense to me, right?
I'm a big fan of washing my hands after I go to the restroom. Yeah, good.
10% of hotels reported finding dentures left by guests. Just a spare set of teeth. I don't know. I don't know how that could happen. I don't know. Some of the most unusual items left behind include Rolex watch.
Oof.
Another watch worth $6 million.
Oh,
I guess they probably left that in the in-room safe. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
A Birkin bag, keys, documents for a luxury car, a car tire, an engagement ring. I'm guessing that proposal went south. A tooth.
My dad watching just chimed in. I got the text on my watch. I left a gun. I travel with more than one. I caught my oversight and I went back to get it promptly.
Hopefully you didn't turn your keys in. You're like, I'll just sneak back in there.
We left a pew-pew.
2 full leg casts.
What? That's on purpose.
Stacks of cash. I think they left the hotel in a hurry if they left stacks of cash.
Yeah.
There's probably a bigger story and maybe even a court case along with that one. A pet lizard.
Oh, that's sad.
And a chick.
Like a chicken.
I was thinking like hey,
he left his
chick.
Girl.
Yeah.
He left his girl, the cash. My dad left the gun. Is
That's
my
my
dad
side
all in
chick,
one?
I think it is.
My dad left the cash, his gun, and the chick and took off. The cops were after him.
Oh my goodness.
That's wild.
The story has a one last part I want to get into. They also list some of the most unusual room service requests that they've had, including Evian-filled tub for a child's bath. Evian is like the posh drinking water. Like you take water bottles and fill up my child's bath. A customized allergen menu for a pet. Burnt toast, a caviar hot dog, fresh goat milk, 4 pounds of bananas and a high five from a team member to ensure their room service request was read. I like the last one. But if I'm going, yeah,
go ahead, go.
If I'm going to a hotel that that will give me fresh goat milk in room if I order it, I'm probably paying more than I've ever paid for a hotel in my life. 100%. I've never had a hotel that it's all I can do to say, can you guys send me please a pillow because my bed doesn't have any? And they're like, well, we'll see if we can find somebody to spare. You should just come down and get one from them. Yeah, I've never had room service like this.
Just knock on your neighbor, see if they need all 3 that they have. Just take one of those pillows.
I mean, Holiday Inn Express is not out there collecting goat's milk for customers. I can tell you that.
But that and Hampton Inn, 2 great hotels. To your point, you said you liked the last one, and it was to and a high five from a team member to ensure the room service request was read. Have you? So we did. Well, I need to exclude my wife because she said, "Don't be an idiot," but I was. There's the videos out there when you get home delivery, like from pizza, and you put in the instructions of like people hop on one leg when you ring the doorbell and like, shout the Macarena, whatever. Right. So I did that one night. I forget the request. It wasn't too outlandish. It was pretty straightforward. It was pretty simple. So I did it, and the girl did it. Sure enough, she followed the instructions. She read it, and I've only seen it on the internet. And I thought they're going to just throw the pizza on the ground, like walk away, like Yahoo, because I've already tipped online. So I'm not, and she did it. Sure as heck. She was a great sport about it, and she was funny. And so we made sure to run out the door because we saw on our doorbell cam, right, in our thing. So we ran out the door and made sure to like triple tip her when she was done with it.
Yeah, she's already.
And and she said, she's like, honestly, she had such a terrible day. I think she was a college student. She said, I had such a terrible day. When I read your goofy message, it made me laugh. And so I actually had fun going and doing it. And I forgot how bad my day was.
Then she got a big tip.
And then she got a big tip. Yeah. So it was the perfect storm that came together. I haven't done it since, and I don't ever think I will because you can't do it to everyone. It could be insulting and weird, and I feel obligated. But it was cool.
It's like, why do I have to think I'm a little teapot as I drop off your package?
100%.
No, I can see doing this at a restaurant because I've done something similar to this. Like you want to have a fresh burger, right? You don't want food that's been sitting in the cooler forever. Yeah. And how do you tell?
Right.
And so you do something like, hey, I'd like a double quarter pounder or whatever it is you're getting, but make it upside down. So the buns are right side up, but the fixings are upside down. And you do something like that because I want all the fixings. I don't want to say hold the pickle, but I want to see that it's freshly made. And if you give them the instruction like that, that's worth a tip, I think.
It's like the guy that ordered DoorDash from McDonald's and ordered a cheeseburger, hold the cheeseburger. And the DoorDasher was like, just to confirm, you don't want a cheeseburger at all. You want nothing, right? And he's like, nope. And so they literally brought him an empty McDonald's bag. And he gave a huge tip and 5-star ratings for everything because they followed the orders the way he requested.
The guy's like, this has got to be a YouTuber.
100%. And I think it was. I think that's where I saw it potentially. But yeah, order a cheeseburger, hold the cheeseburger. So they brought him a bag. Just unbelievable. People are funny. I like some of the stuff like that when they reward the people for doing and being a part of it. The ones I don't like are the silly pranks where they're in people's faces out in public and just being a nuisance, because at the end of the day, they do nothing for that person. They don't stop and, hey, here's $100K cash for being a good. No, they're just trying to be a nuisance and be a pain and stir people up and make their days miserable. And I hate that.
This might sound harsh, but those people that prank, oh, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to beat you up type of things.
Yeah.
I'm like, please let them have a concealed carry. Please let them just stumble upon somebody who's like, oh, my life's in danger. Pow, pow.
Or please let that be a black belt.
Capital punishment first offense, I think, is perfect. Perfect. You don't just treat people like that.
No,
you can't.
You're threatening someone and their well-being for your benefit and views. Whether you're going to do it or not, that person doesn't. It's only for your gain and benefit, the threats you're making. And I think that is so cross the line. When certain people engage in a fight of some sort, there's some sort of passion because either party feels they've been wronged or something. But when you're just making false threats to get some views and make some cash money, The other people don't know that, and they think they're in real danger. That's like using. Yeah, I feel like they should get more jail time than the two guys that get in a fight at the bar, in my opinion.
I sense a rant coming on.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop because we're already 8 after. So, but
wrong button. There we go.
Speaking of money and views, I forgot to tell you real quick. You can keep the music rolling, but my wife and I we got some chickens because we're gonna start selling some eggs.
Nice.
Some of the neighbors, yeah. All we're trying to do is make hens meet. Got him.
I was going to say, I've got a buddy, a little kid that I was actually a scout leader for back in Utah. And he ran a business selling eggs. He had these chickens and he had this big sign. He's like, farm fresh, organic, everything. And I'm like, are you really making any money on that? He's like, yeah. I'm probably going to pay for college for this. I'm like, that is crazy that you're paying for college off some chickens in your backyard. I'm like, how in the world do you do that? Do you have like a huge farm back there? He's like, no, I've only got like 6 chickens. But when people order, I just go to the store and I buy more eggs. I put them in my own package and I deliver those.
That's phenomenal.
Well, good power on. Nice. Good one. Good one. He's got it figured out. So he's buying just regular store special eggs and selling them as organic. So I'm pretty sure he's going to get shut down eventually, but it's after he goes to college because the kid's like 18 now. He's got a nice car. I think I know how to pay for it.
Heard about him selling Ford's egg. 80s, I appreciate it. No tomato tonight because I gave him the Go Blue Jackets. Otherwise, I always get a tomato from 80s. I appreciate it.
Nice. Awesome. I already got 2 from him. So, you guys, it's been a fun one. Thomas, thank you very much. Appreciate all the hard work you do to put this together. This is, as I said, the highlight of my week. Thanks to everyone who joined us. Tomorrow, we're going to be following the case, probably closings, probably verdict watch, and probably a verdict tomorrow in the Carly Group case. Listen, Matthew, we love you too. Says Red Pen.
Absolutely. Awesome. Scott, can't wait. Again, these evenings are a blast for me too. So many laughs. Chat, you guys are so great. Thanks for chiming in. I'm sorry for the Cowboys jokes to everybody, except for you, Roy.
We have all these gifted memberships and things I forgot. Red Pen, Tash, Red Pen. What happened before we started? Red Pen, Green-Eyed Cat. Thank you very much. Eric Patterson, so glad to be back to normal. Thank you. Todd, thank you. Congratulations on 14 days. Greeners became an attorney. And Susie, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You guys have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.